Hello, true art believers, and welcome to this week's installment of the Artist Interview Series. It's been a while. It's been a long while since I've had one, but I'm very grateful. I'm very excited to have fine artist Prabin Badhia. Prabin Badhia creates paintings that depict the human figure in a style that he calls pure form. His figure paintings are spontaneous in approach, often letting his brush pull the figure out of the canvas rather than pre-planning ahead of time. Before we start, please make sure to hit the subscribe button. It is very much appreciated. And don't forget to hit that notifications bell. You don't have to do that, but definitely hit the subscribe button. I'm really grateful for that. So I just want to say thank you, and I hope you enjoy this conversation. Let's start. Prabin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Good. Was I too loud on this? Was it like too loud? Was there like any cracking going on? Like
No, it's perfect.
Oh, good. Because I actually I tend to talk louder when I have my ears covered. So like because I can't hear the outside area, so I'm just talking louder than normal.
No, perfect. Sound is perfect. Everything is perfect.
Good. Prabin, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today and talk to me about your artwork, talking to me about your art career and how you make it as an artist.
It's my pleasure to talk to you today. I was waiting for this moment.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, I just came back from my trip. We went to the north of California, which is the Humboldt County, where you see a lot of redwood trees. And it was really amazing to see all those trees and wilderness. Still it is not explored, I think, fully. So if you get a chance, definitely you should visit that place. And,
are you one of those artists that really likes to immerse themselves in nature, or are you different than that? Because some artists to really be around nature.
I love nature. Sometimes, time to time, I do natural painting, but this trip was a little amazing because it changes something in me. Because when I saw the wilderness and the tall trees, the redwood trees, and they collect the moist inside, and some of the trees are like thousands years old, and redwood trees, and that makes you connect to the real nature. It ignites your original passion as a creature, not just like a part of any society or anything like that. So that's how, and that will tell you that what you are, what we are for, and what is our purpose, and that's how I got into this thing, and it resonates with my way of work. Yeah, and definitely I'm a figurative artist. I do figurative things as you introduced, and that's where most of my expressions lies on. Yeah. So yeah.
When you're in nature, does it invigorate you, inspire you to kind of get back to the studio, or is it just or are you just like it's just a habit to go in the studio?
No, it's just like a spacing out from the regular mindset of painting in the studio. But it's necessary for every artist to go and be a part of the nature sometime to get the whatever way you can draw the nature, you can paint with the nature, or you can just detach from the nature also. It gives you a perspective how you place yourself when you are in a creative zone.
How often did you go to those trips to get away?
Once in a while, after a long time. That's why it was fresh in my mind. And otherwise, I am close to the Bay. San Francisco Bay is a beautiful place. All boating, rafting, everything is going on here. Yes, I'm with the nature all the time. But this trip was special because I was really felt myself in a certain way, like a creature, not as a part of human, as a creature. That's what my paintings, my figures reflects, as a creature, not as a human, as a civilized person.
Prabin, could you explain or kind of tell everyone what you were like as a child? Like what did like a 10 15, 20-year-old you look like?
Oh, that's a good thing that actually I'm from the remote area of India. A part of India, which is there is a place called Bolangir, and it's a state of Odisha. There, I started my journey, and when most of my teenage time, I spent in that little town. Like it's so remote that you have to travel 3 days at least, like a plane, train, and bus and local transport. Then only you can reach to my hometown.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's kind of so funny, and I started most of the time, my teenage time, I spent in that small town with local celebrations and cultural activities. That's what made me to be in art. So yeah, that's what I was. I was with local, very raw, uh, with friends. Very raw experience. It's nothing to be like a very civilized, not civilized, like they are civilized, but very raw form of human expressions when I was grew up with. There's no filter, no sophistication there. So
What were you creating during those times at that age?
Uh, I was not actually. My neighborhood was everybody. If you find anyone, they are kind of more or less. They know about art. They know how to draw, how to paint, everything. I was not just like a normal, same thing, same people as them. I was not something special. But after that, I decided to. I just took the same thing as a professionally when I went to the art college. Otherwise, I was the same guy. You can still find same kind of people there in their neighborhood. It's nothing. I'm not exceptional. I just took it seriously. That's all.
What do you mean by nothing exceptional? Like you were like,
I was just like other guy. What I draw, most of the people they know the same thing. They were doing the same kind of things. They sing the same rhythm, and they do the same kind of cut paste or draw charcoal, anything like other kids they do. And
were they like the same skill set as you? Is that what you're trying to say?
at that time, same skill set. But
Okay.
professionally, that's all.
And you just got serious. Like, what was
Yes.
that fire inside you? What made you decide, like, you know what? Everyone around me is doing the same thing as me. I'm gonna do it better.
You know what? I was escaping.
Okay.
Yeah, escaping from my regular kind of study, because I didn't do well in college. So I was trying to find some other way to go to art college and find a career. That's what it is.
And it served as a catalyst for you to escape.
Yeah. And then when I went to art college, then I found myself. Yes, I have some potential to do something, and I found myself in the art college. Actually, it was little. It's the other city. It's a totally culturally also little different than my hometown, and it's a new surroundings and hostile environment, absolute freedom to do whatever you want. So that made me to think more about to find myself in a different category. Like, yes, I can do something if I don't follow the crowd that other things. And and then I actually built up in the art college as an artist. You can say like that.
You didn't want to follow the art crowd in your college?
No, I was among the crowd, but I found myself a little. I found myself differently. So I can do something different than other artists. They were also doing this equally good, but just studying materials and meeting with other friends who are non-artists also. Not only the art group. I was bankers, the economist. I was hanging out with those people just to evening time, talking about other stuff than the art. So that made me a kind of area where I should think in a differently, not just the art, but other than the art also. I was trying to narrow down to my path in a different way. So that's what I thought about.
Could you tell me more about your art program. What was it like? What did they have you do? Like, what were you drawing? How long were the classes, etc.?
Um, it was the classes were I don't remember actually. It was like a divided into the painting and the applied art, the fine art and the applied art. Applied art, it means when you go to the college and to be a designer or commercial work, something like that. And fine art is kind of where I was there with the painting subject. So pretty much like anytime you go and paint, it was not something that duration of how long and how much, and it's all about the practice, continuous practice. And sometimes in my teacher was saying that, okay, I want 100 sketches now. So we have to. There was no model there. We used to go to the marketplace, the local market, hanging out. People are hanging out, buying and selling stuff. We just randomly sketching every day, like 100 sketches. And you come,
In a sketchbook?
oh yeah, sketchbook and
Yeah.
old newspaper. You tore it and making like a stack of paper, just randomly, which there's no return back, no corrections, just one after another in the evening, 2-3 hours. 100 of sketches we are doing, and in my student uh, career, at least I made 100,000 sketches.
Wow, wow. So
Yeah.
you would just go that your professor would send you out,
Yeah.
and you would at your own devices, and just like, as long whatever you do, just come back with 100 sketches.
Yes.
And how long did it took you? Hours to do that?
Not 100 sketches means, yeah, maybe hours or 1 hour and a half.
An hour and a half to,
Yeah, having a coffee and sitting there, the bench somewhere at the corner and doing sketches of the people.
was that every day?
Almost every day. There
Wow.
was nothing there. My art college was like a area where there is less distractions. The city was almost um, dedicated to the art colleges like that. There's not much activity, but to do sketch. Rest of the time we are devoting doing sketch work and nothing else.
When you got done with college, did you have like a stack of papers, like a couple feet high?
Oh yeah, everything is
Wow.
gone, totally destroyed. Still nothing there
You just
anymore.
you destroyed them all?
Yeah, I just like a termite,
Did
termite,
you
termite, and all these things. It's just it's yeah, it's destroyed. It's nothing is there anymore.
you never kept any of it?
Now use some of them, but it's not there anymore.
What
Then
about
I'm talking about 1982. School.
yeah.
Yeah. It's not now because you won't find anything. There are only few paintings are there, and everything is gone.
So you've kept a few paintings.
A few paintings, not much. And
What when did you decide to like just toss them out?
oh, I didn't toss it out because it was kept in a very poor environment where
Okay.
you got to look drain and
Oh,
environment they just decayed and
oh,
it
they got destroyed.
yeah destroyed.
How'd you feel after that?
Um, uh, it's okay. I'm not kind of person who can possess that my creativity. I just let
Mhm.
it go. I don't feel because I learned what I learned. I got a skill that I developed. I train my eyesight to gauge people. That's all I care about, and I don't care about whether it's there or not. Until now, I don't possess any of my paintings. Sometimes painting says it's okay. It's not. Let's go. I, I don't have any kind of that attachment to the painting after I create.
So no emotional attachment to it.
No emotional attachment.
So you've thrown away new paintings as well, or you just paint over them?
Throw it out. I don't think if someone wants it or something like that, it goes. Luckily, I sell all those things here in the studio.
How often do you not sell a painting, and when do you decide to either toss it out or give it to someone or to paint over it? What's the deadline for you?
No. I don't toss it out.
Oh, okay, okay.
I don't toss it out.
I
It's
thought you said it sounded like you toss them all out.
no. I sell all that here,
Oh, okay,
but I don't have any attachment to it.
okay.
That attachment means like I'm so sorry for that. I lost it, something like that. It's not like that. It's a one just creation, one phase of one time that I created. That's all. After that, I have to go next. It's like that.
Yeah, yeah. I imagine if you're
Process of doing things and all that. I got a lot of paintings I have here.
Yeah, I imagine with when you're creating work so much that
Mhm.
the emotional attachment comes less and less with each one,
Yeah,
and there's not nearly as much involvement with it because you're on to new things. You want to create a new image.
yeah, with a
The
new
past
mindset.
image is gone.
Yeah, with a new mindset. Yeah, and and also that's not the kind of childhood things that. Then when after my graduation, I came to Delhi, the capital city of India,
Hmm.
to study my master in art.
Hmm.
Uh, I took admission in a national museum, which is directly controlled on the central government.
Hmm.
And but that time I was very poor. There was no money, and my family was very mediocre with their just like a regular job. And so with that thing, then I had to complete my master's degree, but no money. Then I applied for a teaching job. Then I was a teacher, art teacher in a high
Hmm.
school for 8 years, and that helped me to complete my master degree. And after master degree in 92, yeah, 92, when I got my master degree, then I got a chance to USA. I came to New York. Then it's a different story altogether. The reason I'm telling about there is no place where I can constantly I was well established. I was just moving place after place. So culture, surroundings, friends, everything changes. So I have to build up new friends, new things, a new society. That's how I went through. It's a different feeling. I don't know, but how you feel it. But I was not focused on one place and one people and one surroundings. So that's why my art reflects all this kind of different kind of yeah style. Yeah.
You mentioned when we were talking a while back, you were mentioning that you were a graphic designer for a small while, and now you're just freelancing, but you were a graphic designer just to make ends meet back in the day.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So when I came to New York, then it was again the money I had. Um, it was not enough to keep myself in supporting myself in a city like New York.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, then I had to do a job. I did an odd job like a restaurant, all kind of stuff for a few months, and then I was tired. No, man, I cannot do this thing. I have to go back to my teaching job. Still, I had a teaching job in India. I wanted to go back. Then I lost short. I thought, let me try if I can get my kind of job. I had no graphic design experience. Then I went to a publishing company. Say, I'm an artist. I can do cartoon. Do your newspaper needs cartoon? It's, oh yeah, come over here so you can try. And he was just playfully, he was casually. He said yes. Then I went next day, and he didn't know that he's hiring me or not. But somehow I insert myself in that organization, and somehow I, uh, I did my good job, and he was very happy with me, and he sponsored me to stay in this country.
How long were you a graphic designer in New
Then,
York?
that company, I joined as a cartoonist, but I learned the graphic design skill. I'm talking about 93, 94, when there was no internet.
Yeah.
And Photoshop 2, Elder's PageMaker, those kind of things. So anyway, I did a very good job in graphic design. For 3 years, I was in New York, in Manhattan. I found a place in Manhattan, and I had a really exciting time there. Working hard, partying hard.
I imagine in New York you could party pretty hard.
Yeah, and 3 o'clock night sometimes when you go to the club or something, coming back at 3 o'clock at night, and uh, that's 3, 4, 5 hours we are sleeping. Next day again go to job.
Gosh.
And
Yeah,
my office was in Fifth Avenue, where all the parades, all these kind of things pass through that Fifth Avenue, and I had no chance to look even peek through the window. I was that busy. It's very hard work. So anyway, I don't want to mention that, but I went through a hardship. So that's what. just to let you know.
So, Prabin, could you like break down a typical day in the life of an artist for you? Like, what do you do to kind of start your day, and how does your day kind of go about in order to get for you to work on a canvas? Like, what's the process?
Oh, okay. So basically, what happened when I was a graphic designer? Then with the same graphic design, I came to California with a different company, full time, and 5 days I was working 9 to 5, like other people, and day meeting deadlines and all that. Only weekends I had available to do my painting work until COVID hits. I until now. Now I'm a freelance graphic designer. The graphic design is kind of secondary now. So
Okay.
now the now I'm full time available to paint. So in a day like this, when I do the things, first of all, I I'm not willing to like engage 24 hours in doing painting work. It's not like a craft that you have to do series by series like that. I have to set my mind by listening stuff, looking at stuff, things, and going for a walk. All that kind of things involves doing everything. I do my own household work also, fixing stuff, repairing, all this thing I do by myself. Cooking, of course. So everything involves painting, but I do sketch every day. Every day I do sketch. For anywhere I am, I have a sketchpad with me all the time, like this. I do sketches, random sketches. So I generate ideas. Then yeah, that's my process of doing things. And evening time, I don't work late or anything like that. Mostly I work 2 3 hours a day, not much.
As a painter.
Yeah, yeah. In
So
the
you
US studio.
so 2 to 3 hours of solid painting time.
Yes, totally engaged with the paintings, looking at, doing stuff. Yeah.
That makes sense because there's I don't remember. I think it's called Deep Work by Cal Newport. I think
Hmm.
that's the name of the author. Excuse me. And he was talking about how like you can't really do labor like mentally intensive work
Hmm.
for more than 4 hours. So
Hmm.
like when you're doing an activity that you're really focused on and you're really in the zone essentially,
Hmm.
right? You're getting that state of flow.
Hmm.
You can't work more than 4 hours. Although there's a lot of people that argue against that. Say I can paint 12 hours straight. But what he was stating was after 4 hours, like it's not the quality that's coming out is not as good.
Um, yeah, because the thing is that first of all, is how you approach art, how you approach your artistry, whole
Yeah.
whole area of artistry in general. For example, if you are a want to build a career in art, like you want to be a designer, you want to apply for the job, some get some experiments, building portfolio. That's a different thing. Then this kind of style works. Like I work this much of time, I have to build up this portfolio. This is a get up I want. You know everything in advance, and you are just
Yeah.
putting your labor by segment wise. You know what you want to get, and you are putting your labor. 2 hours here, one dot here, one line here, one patch of colors here. That's why you know your program, and you are just blindly following a pattern of work. That's one way of working. And second way of working is what you feel like doing things, what you want to paint, for what you want getting out of it. That's a different approach. I don't paint in that way that I have to get something done today. I'm doing prep canvas or doing something like that. But what I do, I wait for the time, the proper time, the energy, and the skill. Three things has to coincide in a certain frame.
Hmm.
I just do. Maybe one line, maybe two lines, maybe 2 hours, maybe half an hour. Doesn't matter. But I want to have all the things has to be available at the same moment.
Yeah.
First thing is my skill. That I have to be like really confident about what I do and my skill. Second thing is that my expressions, what I express, how I feel when I do things like that. And third thing is that whether I'm enjoying that process or not. If I'm not enjoying that, there's no point of doing it. I just stop it right there. So this is the kind of, I don't think the painting, doing a painting is a kind of practice that you have to get some product, that you have to have this half an hour every day or 2 hours every day. It's not like that. It's just randomly thinking about how you feel it.
And when you're in that zone, like are you when you're I don't know, let me rephrase this. I'm just thinking, are you near the vicinity of your studio for extended periods of time? So you have like, do you have like books? Do you have imagery just around you? Kind of getting in that, being in the area of your studio, so that when the time is right, you're able to just kind of get up and start creating. Is that what you kind of do?
Yeah, that helps sometimes when you come to the studio, and coming to the studio helps me in that way that I have to block all these distractions
Yeah.
outside. That's the first thing. Once you, even if you don't have to do anything, nothing in your mind to what to do, but once you block the distractions and you are in a zone that you have to do something, and there is no other way to do something, then when you set in that place, then slowly you narrow your energy down in front of the canvas. Even you look at the canvas, blank canvas, you get the idea, and it forced you to do something on the canvas. So that's how I came to do the painting.
So
So
you have a practice of just of being in the area, and of going to the studio. Is it, you go to studio regularly, like every day?
almost every day, almost
Every
every day.
day. So
Yeah,
that habit of going to the studio every day, where you're in the position to put a line on your canvas surface,
yeah,
or to work on it for 2 hours, as opposed to being away from the studio and having
exactly,
to go there when you feel like it.
exactly. This doesn't matter if it's a one line or half an hour or 2 hours, but being in a zone is very important. Being a certain zone where you can generate some ideas and develop a skill to do some work. That's important.
I think that's a really good thing, that a really good trait to have, like as an artist, is if you don't have a studio, or if you don't have a studio space, or you can't afford a studio space, just making an area, or that you making an area that is your studio,
Mhm.
you know, and kind of putting your body there and keeping yourself in that area, and that way you're kind of condition yourself to get into this mode of creation, you
That's right.
know, because because oftentimes when you're the most inspired, you're not in the area that you need to be, you can work at. And then when you get there, you're like, I don't feel like doing it anymore, because it's gone. Like that spark kind of left, you know.
Yeah. That's exactly the best. At to some extent, you need to condition yourself, and also to be in a discipline. Discipline not to get something done or something. Discipline just to be there. Your physical presence to be there in a certain area. But after what you create is a different thing. It's a different zone. You have to go like totally free of any kind of bondage, any kind of the preconceived idea. So those has to be also free. But to be a discipline is important, and to condition to yourself in a certain extent is important for a creative mind. I think that's what my way of doing work actually.
And when you're inspired, or when you were feeling that itch to pick up that brush, what happens?
Oh, you want to see my brush?
Yes.
Oh, so so this is normally I use when you the big painting like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's sometimes it's bigger than that, and this painting I did already. So this is what I do. I have another painting here. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so this is how I lay out my idea about how things. There's no line, just random brush to find a force, like how forcefully the line, how it should be like that. This is the initial sketch I do. Then I develop the things. Then I think about whether it's going to be what kind of subject you have. I find some kind of connections between the lines and forms. Then I generate the ideas. Like that, I had no preconceived idea before. I just randomly draw some lines. There is no sketches in the paper.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that.
And use that. You take that brush, and is that like is that paint, or is that just like the dirt from the brush itself?
No. It's not dirt. It's kind of just raw umber.
Oh, raw umber. Okay.
Liquid form. Like just like go like this. Like that. Still it is wet. So I just brush it like that.
And you use a lot of gestural qualities, a lot of fluid motions with your wide brush to kind of create figures, but the figures aren't there, not yet.
Not yet there. And this painting, I'm trying to do it not deliberate kind of features, but just like gesture, just motion. How the different strokes create different kind of motion in the painting and create some sense of dynamism inside. The pull and push of the force. That's what I'm trying to build of this painting.
And do you use only that brush, or do you use other brushes are involved? Is there any more?
Sometimes I use the thinner brush also, and I'll show you one brush here. See, this brush is smaller than this one. And look at that. I cut half. You
cut half of it off?
Yeah. I chopped half of the thing so that it will thinner and make like little bouncy a bit better. It bounces better.
So it's got more spring to it.
More spring. And see here, I cut little half of this thing.
So what made you decide to do that?
Just like experimenting with things. I never. So I use everything, whatever is possible. Like, see how other things I did cut. So it's just like experimentation. Thing is that the process. Like I'll tell you one thing that when you start. Like when fresh out of the college, then you think about a job, right? That time your skill and everything is very important, your livelihood, and that's how you want to make like everything to be like deliberately good things, because everything rely on the outside world. People should buy your painting, people should look at your painting, and it has to be, you want a certain setup, you want to be a person of demand that forces you to learn all the skills and techniques and tricks and all that things. But after your obligations are fulfilled, that you have enough money, your bills are paid, your tuition fees are paid, then come to a zone where you do experimentation. So I'm in that stage. I'm doing some kind of experimentation where it doesn't have to be like a good painting or bad painting. Regardless of the result I get, I enjoy doing experimentation, like chopping brush, throwing colors. What if I do the painting, hold a lot of colors in one brush and other brush like thin brush, just all kind of methods and materials I just experiment with. So I'm enjoying that part now.
Are the paintings usually multi-layer, or are they only one layered?
No, multi-layers. It's a
multi-layer, a lot of layers there.
It can be like in one layer also. Sometimes if I find the expression is one brush strokes, I leave it like that. Sometimes some of the strokes, you can see the canvas through the brushwork. And it depends, if the brush is too powerful and it's communicate with my feeling, and I leave it like that. Sometimes I let a lot of layers, 3-4 layers, to wipe it out, drop it out, so many things. It depends what I'm gonna get it. What is my desire is.
How long does it usually take to make one of your paintings?
Oh, sometimes it's like a few hours, sometimes 4 or 5 days, sometimes it takes forever. it depends.
When do you decide that the painting's done?
Mm-hmm. When I don't have any further to carry on my painting. I don't have any kind of thinking anything to carry on any further, and then I stop. This painting is done.
Are they is it oil or acrylic?
This is all oil.
Oil?
Oil, watercolor and charcoal.
Do you mix your oil with any type of medium that kind of create certain effects?
Oh yeah, I mostly use
Linseed oil.
linseed oil, and just pure color. And sometime I use what is the call that galkit.
Galkid, yeah, I heard of that. Yeah, linseed oil doesn't it make oil paint like dry longer?
Yeah, but it gives you a more smooth effect. I like that thing because it doesn't take that longer to dry, but it holds the color for the next day, and the brush works very smoothly. Before I start painting, I make the all canvas with the raw kind of linseed oil.
You rub it with linseed oil.
Then my brush goes very smoothly. Then I just don't just touch the color. I just scoop the color with the brush.
Nice. I was noticing that when I was looking at your paintings, they have like a sheen to them.
Mm-hmm.
They feel like they look like they're glossy. But I also noticed that the way that the brush strokes kind of flowed on the surface, I noticed that I was thinking to myself, that looks like that the paint's going just gliding on the surface.
Yeah.
And the fact that you said that you pretty much varnish with your canvas with linseed oil, now I can see why they has that really viscous effect.
I'm glad you noticed that because that's my kind of thing that I love to carry on those things. That's how I am. I like doing this oil painting. I don't like the small patches of kind of making finishing work. My desire is to get one strokes and final things and get all the values and modeling and drawings, everything together in one strokes. That's what my desire is. Yeah, and I'm glad that you noticed that, and I like to continue to work on that style.
And it kind of looks, when I was looking at some of your drawings, I was very impressed. I was because I didn't even look at the material. I knew it was obviously I knew it was on paper, but I was like, this looks like Conte. Because as a light Conte crown is a like a sketching tool. I was like, this has got to be Conte. I was thinking to myself, this has got to be Conte, and because of the way that you sculpt the planes of the figure, I imagine what you're doing is you're taking your Conte and you're putting it on its side to kind of make those flat planes of the figure. Is that what you're doing?
This is my Conte.
Yeah,
and I use this both ways. Like this way, this is how I control. Like if I want to do a thick line and thin line,
yeah,
how I control. It's all about the hand skill.
Mm-hmm.
Because I practice a lot. I go to the live drawing every Friday from the live model with sketches, and this is what I use to how much pressure I put in the paper to get what kind of effect I want. So this is what I use, and mostly on the newsprint paper. But newsprint is you cannot archive the newsprint. It transfers.
Yeah.
So I use 50-pound paper, not thicker one. If you have thicker paper, drawing paper, it doesn't work. So I use 50-pound like a newsprint, which is acid free. Hard to find, but I managed to find some of this paper. I'm using that, and I'll show you this drawing I did. This is the randomly started like that.
And that's your 50-pound newsprint?
This is 50-pound newsprint. Not newsprint. Yeah, newsprint. 50-pound newsprint.
Because from what you're saying is the paper, it like if you get like standard white paper and you use Conte crown, a lot of the standard white paper I find to be extra toothy.
Yeah.
And you can't get that
smooth kind of
that smooth like massing of the form. With newsprint, and you take Conte crown and you use Conte crown on the side on newsprint, because it's so smooth and it's kind of soft too. it picks up more of that pigment. And I was noticing that from the get-go when I was looking at your work, and I was thinking to myself, this is very smart work here. This is the type of like nuanced figure drawing that only other artists who know figure drawing get, because like they because they were like, wow, that's very impressive, because the way that you're modeling those forms.
Because I've been known for this thing in my figure drawing group actually, but this is the kind of I developed this thing. Earlier, I used to do the hatching technique, like the cross hatching. That's what I used to do. Then I slowly developed like why I'm hatching all the time. But hatching technique is very important also, because that's how you can know the muscles, how the muscles twist and turns, how to make the modeling, the round shape and all that things. That's important, and that's kind of basic thing, very academic. You need to know that. Then after that, I say, well, instead of doing the hatching trick, let me do it, because the models stay for only 2 minutes or 3 minutes, right? So we have to get everything within that time.
Yeah.
And for 2 or 3 minutes poses, what I used to do before, like only the outline. Outline is not enough. So what if I do some kind of putting little pressure and do an entire kind of shade with that? So that's how I developed this technique. And I don't know, a lot of people must be doing the same thing, I think. But I enjoy doing the live drawing, the drawing with this kind of conte, with the sideways. Yeah.
How often do you do live drawings?
How often?
Yeah.
Every Friday I used to go. Due to COVID, I stopped for 1 year almost now. But I do live drawing, and we have a live model. I do live painting too. I do portrait, and directly from the model we do.
What kind of advice can you give to other artists?
I think artist is kind of different thing. When you think about a success is a different meaning. Like I told you before, like when you're coming out of the art college, definitely you need to think about your job and your support yourself financially to keep your practice going. For that, I was doing the graphic job and fulfill all the obligations, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's a one way of success. But what happened? People are locked into it. During that time, people establish their identity, their style of work, and people demand, oh, I want this kind of work only. I want this only. So artists, what happened? They locked into the situation. They cannot get out of it. Because, for example, if some artist does a very good landscape and people are buying a lot, and artists think that only landscape I can paint because that's what people are buying. That means they're not trying to escape, not trying to find some different avenue for themselves. And that's how they locked into one system. That means like you are slave of your own skill. Yeah, you know the skill, but you're slave of your own skill. That's the scary part for me. But after that, at some point, you fulfill your obligations. You have the house, you have everything. You're married, your children, everybody went to college. Then you have a different zone. Then what kind of art you want to produce? You don't need the money anymore. Of course, you need money. But thing is that you have to have a different way of keeping your practice going.
Yeah.
For me, it's kind of experimenting with a different way of experimenting with methods, material, tricks, and techniques. That's all make me happy, and doesn't matter whether people are buying or not, whether you are marketable or not. That's a different thing. But at least you are satisfying yourself. You are doing something. You are respecting your ability to create. That's the main thing. Then third phase, what I believe is after 70 years, when you are like really 70 years, really old, that time you can take the practice, your art practice, as a meditation. Like just inner journey. What makes you happy? Sometimes you don't have to control about your skill. You don't need to have the kind of, let your things, allow your drawing to drag you. Like just allow yourself. Don't have to control yourself what kind of image you want to make. That's what artists, they make a mistake. They don't allow themselves. They totally want to be control about what they do.
I wrote this down. I love this what you just said. Um, being a slave to your skill.
Yeah,
I love that because I've talked about this with many other artists. How like you get caught, so popular with one genre of work that
yeah,
you can't get out of it.
yeah,
And I love the idea of an artist who can just who can make work and not have or external forces like commercial or commissions or customers kind of dictating what
yeah,
you want to make.
yeah.
And that happens a lot. There's a lot of artists that get caught in that, and it pains me so much to see artists who have success, but they literally can't stop making these pieces because their livelihood is basically predicated or attached to the work that they're doing.
Exactly.
And I'm like, oh gosh, don't you want to do something new? Like, I do, but they can't. I'm like, well, they can't. Actually, I really, I actually, deep down in my heart of hearts, I want them to do something different.
Hmm.
Uh, because I think that the people that like their work won't care either way. They'll be happy that they're happy doing something that they love doing, or at least that's what I think. You
Hmm.
might lose a few. You might lose a few customers here or there. At least that's what I would feel would happen, but maybe not. Maybe they're really kind of stuck in their style and they just can't get out of it. I don't know. We will never know.
Yeah, exactly. For example, now some of my figurative work is very popular and selling. That doesn't mean that I have to stick to this thing anymore. I have to find
Yeah.
some new way to satisfy my urge of creativity. If I'm not happy with what I'm doing, there's no point of creating anything. Do something else. So in that way, people who are living on creating art, those are different. Keep them doing it. Let them do something until they fulfill their obligations and
Yeah.
their duties. It's very important because otherwise, if you don't make your living, and there's no point of creating art. First of all, you have to support yourself financially. This tragic, these situations, everybody is very important. Then when you get a chance, never stop that you are also creating something. And every artist react in a different way. They look at things differently. The way you see the figures and way I see the figures are different. The way you look at the natures are different. Everything is different. So keep your eyes totally open and totally like unique, that you have to feel the same thing differently. And you don't have to be like a same person as yesterday. You have to be a new person tomorrow.
Prabin, we have a few questions from some viewers. One wants to know, could you talk about the size of your canvas and how it impacts the viewer?
Oh, so normally, normal size of my canvas is 3 feet by 6 feet. This size, or maybe uh, mm, 3 feet by 4 feet. That's the minimum size I do for figurative work. And some of the canvas you'll be surprised. I'll show you one painting. This is the another canvas here. It's long.
That's a different size format than what we
Size.
normally do.
It's a long painting. It's like a scroll.
Is that a new piece, a new style that you're pursuing?
This is all. I did a series of painting which is related to the COVID, the suffering
Okay.
of human beings. Uh,
Okay.
so- because during the lockdown, there's a limited resources to um, do artwork because there is less color, less. The stores are closed. So whatever I had left over colors, I started doing painting. Whatever I had, small, big. Yeah, I series of painting which is related and to the human suffering, and yeah, that's what I did. And it depends on what kind of canvas I like. Mostly 2 feet by 3 feet by 4 feet is the standard size, and I think I did some of the big pieces, like 8 feet by 4 feet. Big pieces. It's not there here, but it's a huge. And I got a commission of doing like 12 feet by 7 feet. And maybe in a few months I'll do that. It's a drawing. Yeah, it's kind of. I'm thinking about that, how to do that.
You got that commission?
Yeah.
Oh man, congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Thinking about that and how to do that. So most like technical things, I have to think about how to arrange the things, how to divide the canvas, all that things. It's kind of fun.
I imagine going from your standard 3x4 canvas where you have kind of a feel of how the composition works. You know, I imagine when you blow up your work to that scale, you're gonna have to kind of at least kind of figure out how you're going to compose it a little bit so it doesn't get too chaotic, or at least that's just what I would do.
Yeah, it's kind of. I told him that just leave it to me. I want to enjoy that part actually. I don't want to anticipate anything, what kind of image I want. Just I want to know that the value, I have to set the value first. Then I'll just randomly go there with a thick brush, like scooping the color and just spreading like that. Let's see how it happens. If it doesn't work, then fine. It's one of the experience I want to have, like a huge canvas and just start going right from there without any kind of preconceived idea. Just go there and do the figurative work.
We have another question relating to your work and how it kind of connects to the soul, and how do you feel about how it grows and nurtures your intuition with your intuitive skill. That's what it sounds like. So I would like to know more about your relationship with this soul work and how you nurture and grow your intuitive skills. I'm trying to rephrase it so it makes more sense, but that's the actual question.
Oh, yeah, it's like a philosophical question. Like sometimes, what I do, and mostly I do the human figure, right?
Yes.
The figurative work. The reason figurative work is like every human being express themselves based on their social surroundings and their geographical locations. Sometimes person in South America has a different way to express than the person from the North America or from the Asia or China or anywhere else. It depends upon how the way they express based on their surroundings, right? But I think that other than that, every human being has their own expression also as a creature, just like a human being. Like I told you earlier that I want the redwood forest is totally natural, connected to the thousands years old tree. That time how the human were. We have the same human, but without all these sophistications like the gadget and all that things. But if you push yourself to the very inner part of the human being, like totally raw, flesh, bone, muscles and everything, you have different way to express yourself. Regardless of where you are and what time you are and which geographical location you are. So I am interested in that part of the human being where the human is a raw form, totally raw, how you express. You don't belong to anything. There's no necessity that you have to belong to some kind of this group or that group. There's no need. You just have to be human to express yourself and how you relate, how you connect with other human being. I think that's how I connect with my soul to my creativity. And believe me, when I do the paintings, I feel myself as differently. Like I'm painting a creature, so not like person from somebody else, regardless what kind of expression it is. So I just created some human as a creature, like falling sky, like this painting, like falling figures. And there is one. This painting was displayed in Emeryville Art Exhibition, our local exhibition. And there is a poet who wrote a poetry about this thing, Fred Dodsworth. And he wrote a poetry on this thing, of this painting. And he published a book. So people has a different reaction to how they relate and all falling figures and what they think, how they connect with their inner voice and feeling to it. So I cannot express anything. There's no certain definition as such that how I can express, but
Mhm.
it's, everybody has a different expression, different way to connect. My job is to do as it is, as I feel. So they can define this painting in a different way. They can write something differently.
What part do you think your subconscious lends to your work?
My conscious,
Your subconscious.
oh, you know, it's a different thing. Like it's like a child when child is born, you ask them to how to walk. Ask them to okay, put the left foot, the right foot, the left foot, right foot. After a certain age, then the child started running. Then and that when he grow adult, like an older totally experience, then he don't need to think that which foot to put first and second, which is left, which is right. He just do the acrobat. So he's merged into the action. So that's important to practice more and more until you get used to something and you get a stage where you don't have to be conscious about what you do. You
Mhm.
allow yourself and automatically things happen. You don't have to be so rigid and to be aware of what you do, like left or right or up and down. Don't have to think. Just allow yourself, and you are so habituate of your practice that you just do whatever you want. So I think in that way you can create art. You can do anything also for
Do you
any.
think
Yeah,
do
you
you, do you
not necessarily you can create art. You can do something else also, but based on your practice. In my,
I
I do the painting.
I wonder if those thousands and thousands of drawings as when you're in college helps you to kind of release you from that thought process of creating those figures because you have all that kind of muscle memory ingrained in creating your figurative works.
Definitely, yeah, that helps. I realize that. So when I create something, some image, I don't think about what I'm going to create. Just scratch something, automatically things emerge, and I give a shape, and that's what I do. And it's a way, one way it's one of the way I work. It's not the only way, but people have the different thing, different way they do.
Hey, Prabin,
Mhm.
what has kept you motivated for so long? What's the driving force
Uh, Driving force for what?
to create, to paint, to get up in the morning and to go to the studio and to make these works?
Because just like earlier when I told you, it's like an escape route for me. Like I didn't do well in a college in a science. I was a science student. Then I went to the art college because it was just like a escaping from the regular stuff. Until now, it's kind of, you can say like that because I don't have any other things to better things to do than to paint in that way, because I don't think anything. I was a graphic designer, just listening to the people. Oh, you want to have a sell sign or 2.99 per pound deal.
Yeah, that's fun.
Or something. Oh, I don't like this. This color doesn't go with my wall. Make like this color. So that's what I was listening to the other people, right? So even if you put your skill and everything, that's the work also. I'm not ignoring that's a good thing to do, to be available for the people's taste and technique. But I found more kind of respecting my own urge. To do that, I want to be narrow down to my own urge, what I want, what I don't want. So for things, this kind of doing painting is the more interesting thing, very kind of important for me to do at this point, because that's my motivation. And just to block other things are redundant, because I know that one thing is that there in COVID, during the COVID, some of my friend died. So in back home in India, so I found the life. Yesterday they were like popular and very famous, and they just gone. So who cares what you do in your life? That give me a perspective, like where I stand and what is important for me to do. It's not that I want to create a big history or a big name. I have like 4 or 5 years or something. I can be doing painting. I don't know after that. And I don't have a desire to be like a known painter or big painter or making big money or something like that. I want to keep myself creative as possible and enjoy my process as I'm doing. If someone's buy it's good. If don't buy it, that's fine too.
Is it still like so it's almost still like an escape for you in a sense?
Yeah, still like an escape. Still, it's an escape for me. I'm just escaping.
So the motivation literally has not changed your entire life. I just want to get away. I just want to get away onto the canvas and just let loose, and whatever comes out comes out. Like just
comes out. Exactly,
awesome.
Exactly. Just escape and nothing else.
Do you have
myself more? I find myself in a kind of solitude to create that things. If I said that I'm escaping, that means I'm in a certain zone that I have something to do. It's not escaping like going there and relaxing. Just I have certain things to do. I have a brush, I have colors, I have canvas.
Do you is it an escape or is it a calling? Do you feel like you're called to the painting?
You can call that's kind of different terminology. People can use it, but I find myself escaping.
I would relate to the escaping part where you might have a lot of like, well, I'm not referring to you, but like just if I was in that zone or in a position where there's a lot of things going on in my life that are, pulling my attention or very stressful, I would find some solace in just working on a canvas or some sort of artwork that has nothing to do with the external world, something kind of I can focus on the internal.
I don't have that kind of problem with my past. Actually, I was not in a pressure. I had a very good life. I'm married. I have a 21 years daughter. She goes to college, and yeah, I had some kind of a financial trouble in the beginning, and my families are like not that rich or anything like that. But I don't think that's kind of it's a part of life. It's not something that I should be escaping or something like that. I have very content life. I'm very happy with my life, what I'm doing, but escaping in the sense that I just don't want to be trapped into that kind of cycle, making more, buying more, consumers, politics and all kind of things. I don't want to fall into that trap. I want to escape from those things, like extra things which disturb you, disturbing you, like other elements, like people try to impose their idea into my mind. I don't want to. I don't want that. I want to have my own solitude, my own way of looking at people. That's all. Got my?
Yes. I know you don't want to. You're talking about you talked about your work and how you don't want to like raise an impact, or you don't worry about making a like your imprint on a world. But how do you feel that your work is relevant today?
Yeah, I did my history of art in master in history of art. I'm aware of the different kind of ups and downs in the art, but I don't want to place myself. It's very too early to place myself in a certain category that I'm how relevant I am or not relevant I am. But I try to find more narrow down to myself and to ignite my own thinking, own feeling inside, so that something will come out. I'm still in the experimental stage. I am not totally like done or something like that. Luckily, I'm selling few paintings here and there, and I got some commission. That doesn't mean that I'm totally like putting myself in a category to relate to something or other. I'm doing my job, and whatever I feel like doing, I'm doing. Today I'm able to do it. Tomorrow I may not. Who knows?
And you're enjoying the ride while it happens.
I'm enjoying the ride. That's the main point. Yeah, I love my creative process and my life. Everything is fine. Yeah.
That's a good outlook to have on life, because often there's like this like stereotype of artists being like these brooding emotional folk that have all this like angst inside them, and but I'm finding more and more like that's like this movie, like this like Hollywood version of the artist is like this like brooding person who's always angry and always has like this demon inside. But I'm finding more artists are just the nicest and the most humble and always generally the most happy people I've seen around.
Uh, yeah, because there's nothing wrong with that because they have that kind of experience in the past and they need to find some outlet to express themselves. It's totally valid, but it's for them. It's working for them. It's good. But thing is then that when you obsessed with your passion and you want to make some kind of number out of that expression, then there is a problem. You want to market your expression. That's not the thing. If you truly express the whatever you feel, that's good. I love that because I want the artist to be sentimental and attached to your emotions. That's a very good thing because it shows that they're sensitive in their feeling. That's important. And some people who are too happy, who does abstract painting, that's also a good thing. Like Jackson Pollock, throwing, drawing, pattern making. Those are the decorative part of the work. So that's also good because that's their thing because everybody has their own way of looking things. Everything is valid. Everybody is living in this world. So I'm not ignoring or comparing myself to other people. It's they're good. They have at least they have the certain sense to express their skill and their story to tell the story.
Could you share us some life advice, a bit of wisdom that you would like to share to the average viewer?
I think when I was a teacher, when I was doing a master, the motto of my school emblem was be yourself. So that's what I think is a very important thing for people, not to be like living like Steve Jobs said, like don't live other people's life, be your own. So that's what I think is strike me very. It's just I feel it very internally that yes, to be yourself, to be accountable for your action is very important. And you are living for a short period of time, just make use of that.
Yeah, you got one ride.
Yeah, one right. And you don't have to worry about the next generation and what generation you had. Just be there here, right at the present. What you can do, you have all tools and technique around you. Use that and make your life beautiful. That's what I think is the best thing to do for everybody.
Thank you. Oh, we have one more question.
Uh-huh.
One more question. Do you ever experience artist block? And if so, what do you do?
Artist block?
Yeah, like I guess that's a no. where you're like I'm trying to make some work, but I can't because I'm blocked.
It's a block. Block. Mm, you know, I don't think so. That's kind of. I don't think any kind of things. That's an excuse to not to work. I think that's why I say people who make that kind of excuse that I cannot finish my painting. I have this thing to do. I have errand to do. I have to go grocery things. All these things. That means it's an excuse not to work, or trying to get the attention from other. But I am crying. Please listen to me.
Well, there the Chuck Close said like inspirations for suckers or something like that, or for amateurs. The rest of us get to work,
Yeah.
Where like the thing is like it's like the act of work itself, the act of creation, even if it's like a bad piece, will probably facilitate better work in the future.
Yeah, sometimes some of the work can be very deliberate. Then, and some people they just like they work just for the sake of work, and some people they want to work to get somewhere, to do something, to get to get result. They're result oriented, and some people they just work for the sake of working. They love working. They love to do something. So it's a two different thing when you work actually, and I think I fit in the both category. Like, yes, I want some result, but not necessarily because I also keep working just for the sake of working.
Prabin.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk to me and sharing a little bit about your work and about your life. one last question, and then I want to ask where people can find you.
Okay.
How would you like people to remember this conversation?
Uh, I I think I did pretty well in my what I wanted to say, and your questions was very intelligent, and I think more like how we approach art. That's important for everyone, and how we look at the art also that's important. People who are non-artists, they should look at art in a different way because it's a life, it's a living. A person is doing something uh, in a way that it's an experience. Take it as a more experience of a person. He's living a time span, and for artists, they should think that you are spending a valuable part of your life and you should be true to yourself. That's all I can say about this conversation. They should remember that in that way.
Thank you so much. Prabin, where can people find you online? Like where can people look you up and say, hey, this is where I can find your work?
You can type my name, Prabin Badhia, in Google. You can find me different links. I got Facebook. You can find me. I have website prabinbadhia.com, and also I have a YouTube channel called Beiman Painter. I'll, I'll write it down actually. Beiman Painter.
I believe that it's in the description. I actually have that in description. So
Okay.
if people want to find where Prabin is online, you can look up in the YouTube description. Scroll down and click on whatever area you want to find them on. If you want to find them on Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube, it's right there for you.
Yeah, that's where you can find me, and I'm also in a Berkeley. It's called 4th Street Fine Arts Studio here, and it's a huge studio with co-op with 17 artists. If you are in California, if you get a chance to come to Berkeley, come to 4th Street and
4th Street Studio.
4th Street Studio is and you can go to the website 4th Street Fine Art, 4th number 4 th streetfineart.com. You can find the directions, and there are all varieties of work. And during the COVID, we did very good, and we had a good presence in the society. And yeah, where other galleries were closed, we are still working here and making something. So you get a chance, come here and see our painting, smell it, touch it, no problem.
Don't touch the paintings. You can smell them all you want, just don't touch them.
Yeah,
Prabin, thank you so much. Really
Thank you
appreciate it. Thank you, everyone that was watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see each and every one of you on my next artist interview. Thank you, Prabin.
Thank you very much, Matt. Thank you.
All right. Cheers and good night.
Good night.